and a very warm welcome to Generation Me. This is Tshering Wangchuk here with the program, and today I've come to the Music of Bhutan Research Centre located here at Hong Kong Market. The area is popularly known as Hong Kong Market here in the capital city, and I've come to the centre to meet the founder of the centre, Mr. Sonam Kheng Dorji. All right, sir, thank you very much for being with the program.
Firstly, thank you for coming here and interacting with the MBRC, Music of Bhutan Research Centre. It's centrally located, it's in a downtown, in Lucky Building. It's been like more than 9 years here in this building. That centre has been really in the same locations.
Maybe if you could show us around and tell us a little bit about the traditional musical instruments that you have in your office.
And here, if you look around, you will see so many musical instruments hung on the walls and all those things. For example, we have the first one is it's called yagbal. In other term, in our dialect, it's called DJ. So this is one of the really crucial instruments used in olden time by the nomadic people, and it's been always tied with the yaks. So this yak bell has a certain importance to play while the yaks are traveling from place to place.
Is there a particular story behind this very yak bell?
Oh yes, it does. This yak bell was used on the neck of the Yak Level Hadagaula. Yak Level Hadagaula was under the command of third king. He was brought all the way from Shillong, from the Tibet, by Abchone Doji. So this is the story behind. And he was brought all the way from Tibet to be used as a chip yak. Means as a yak that can be, used by His Majesty Third King. Well, he is on, kind of a visit to the mountain range of Lengjis and Narrows and other parts, especially in high altitude. You might have heard the song about the yak level.
No, sir. Maybe if you could sing a little bit of it so that we'll have more understanding about what you're talking about.
There's so many fabrications in the lyrics of the yak song. But after myself being in the field expedition, and I got to know the actual lyrics, the authentic lyrics of the yak song. So, can I sing for you?
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
So ya le belada gaudi mo dam ke chida duini so dam ke do shemigolo dam ke do shegona. This is the actual the melody and the lyrics associated with the song. And Ya Level Hadagaw says that. So Ya Level Hadagaw is the name of the yak, and he says, is it really necessary or is it really important for you to know that where I'm born and where I had my whole, my child life? That was the actual theme of the song. And he says that in one of the lyrics, he says that since I was commanded by the third king, it is high time for me to travel all the way to Tibet, to Bhutan. That's the actual theme of the song. Out here...
What is it called?
Well, I don't know the exact translation for this one, but we call bin parts in English, and it's called yankali in King. And these instruments are used by the King people while they are having the kind of a shifting cultivation at the time of our cotton plantation.
Actually, we have never heard or seen this kind of musical instrument. So maybe if you could tell us, how did you come to know about this particular instrument?
There are so many musical instruments in the country which has not been exposed out or which is not practically been applied by the performers. For example, this bin pot, it's actually a fruits which been, extracted out of the forest. And normally these are found in the cliff, and you have to, it's not so easy to get this kind of instrument. And how I found this instrument was I was doing a research on the song called the Bomela Karme Wanzum, which means my daughter, let's go and actual theme of the song is about the cotton cultivation. So when I did this research, and then this is where I heard for the first time that they used to use these kinds of instruments in the field just to get relaxed from the tiredness while they're working in the field. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Uh,
What is it called? It just looks like a normal bamboo.
This is one instrument prominently used by the villagers in the field to scare the crow.
Okay.
Since it does have a potential to produce such a beautiful sound, and this also played a very important role in the village identity. So this particular instrument belongs to Nimchupem, and I collected this one 14/8/2013, and it has been now kept here in the office and will be exhibited in the future in the museum.
But can we also call this musical instrument, or do you also use this during, music production, Bhutanese music?
Well, this is, of course, it's definitely a musical instrument. It has a certain kind of role to play to scare the crows also, but same time it produces sound. For example, most of the people, when they try to scare the crow, it doesn't mean to play only like this, not playing like this, but same time they try to sing. Pretty, pretty, it's a kind of, pretending as if that you are trying to scare the crow through these songs.
Okay. That was really nice.
It's all matter of the bamboo.
And here we see lots of different Bhutanese musical instruments, and few of them, not few, almost all of them, looks very old. Can you tell us more about it?
But it's inside the shelf, so it's hard to take it out. These are the musical instruments that we collected from various parts of the country. And for example, this fiddle, this fiddle, very, very interesting one. And this was from the era of Third King. And this fiddle belongs to Abkitu. This instrument is called chiwang in our local dialect. And in English, it is known to be like the fiddle. And this fiddle is very, very important again. It's a great, kind of an asset for the country. This belongs to one of a, prominent fiddlist called Kitu. Now Kitu is still alive, but he no more gets kind of engaged or indulged in music kind of a thing now, because he gave up all the materialistic world, and now he's in the cave above the Kurchilakang. He keeps on meditating, and that was the life that he started, I think 30 years back. And it's made up of with three materials: the horn, timber, and the leather of the god. And if you look at the strings of the instrument, it's all made out of the hair of the horse tail. And also the rosin, which is used to rub over the strings, is also a very indigenous. Extracted from the forest, from one of the tree bark. So this is very special musical instruments for MBRC. And also, I have learned a lot that with this instrument that he played in front of the Third King, he entrained King for so many times. And also with this instrument, he also said, he went on saying that he performed dance along with playing the chuang. So this is also a very important instrument that we need to archive. And then it is believed that he played this instrument at the time of the 1968 recording in Calcutta. So it's a very historic one.
If you could tell us a little bit about the 1968 recording in Kolkata.
Okay, the 1968 recording happened under the command of Third King. And he selected some of the bass musicians, bass vocalists, and bass instrumentalists. And they were sent all the way from Bhutan to Calcutta via Hanshimaral. And then that was the first recording that ever happened. And 18 of them has participated in these recordings, and it was recorded in a gramophone. And that gramophone, in the year 2016, we managed to restore it, and we have the recordings with us now. Through the gramophone, we took it all the way to US, and with the help of the expertise, and we managed to digitize, and now we have this one in a CD format. And that's a very historic recordings in the country again.
That is really fascinating, and this is the very instrument that he used to record Mula.
The Upkita used to play at the time of the recordings. And we have so many musical instruments here. Instruments belonging to different master musicians. Here, this is the bagpipe of Akutongme. Akutongme is the great person who did compose the melody for the national anthem. He was the one who took idea out of one of the very old genres, and then he adapted that melody into our national anthem. And also he's a man who, for the first time, introduced the military band in the country. So this bagpipe belongs to him, and I believe that he learned how to play the military band, and this, with the help of this bagpipe, he went all the way to Shillong to study about the military band. This instrument has got a very, very strong associations with the great composer, the one who have contributed a lot for in the field of our music culture. So this is why we are keeping this one for the archive. Another one. This one is it's really fascinating, and it is so surprising for me because I never thought the ektara was used in Bhutan. And last time when I was in southern part of Bhutan to conduct a research on the Chabrung, I found this instrument in one of the temples and I collected here. And I was so shocked, and I asked him that, how come this instrument is with you all? And he said that this is an instrument which is one of the instruments that it's mandatorily used for at the time of the cremation by the southern Bhutanese. Okay. So I was so shocked to hear. But actually, you will see this one even in the Indian classical instruments part of the thing also, ektara. And this kind of a music instrument is popularly used by the baul singers in India and also in Bangladesh. But I'm shocked to know that this is also a part of Bhutanese instrument.
All right.
And now we have lots of instruments which is made out of bamboo. And here we have one of the instruments called Saiding Drunyan. Do you want me to take it out?
Sure, if you can.
It's all jammed. It's hard to take it out. I can take it out from here, see.
Okay, so sir, where did this instrument come from?
Well, I collected this one from central part of Bhutan, from Kheng region. See, even the strings are extracted out of itself only. The cover surface, the outer part of the bark is used as a string. It's a bamboo actually. And the bridges are been also made out of bamboo only. And you have to shift up and down in order to, change the scales or to bring, different sound.
So this instrument is popular with people in Kheng region.
That was what I assumed in the past, but later on I found that this is also in some of the southern part also they are playing this musical instrument. It's called Saiding Drunyan in local dialect. In Saiding means the bamboo, and Drunyan means it's a part of a kind of a percussion instrument because it produces only one note. But that has to be used in such a way that you should be able to play different patterns on it. So this is also one of the rhythmic instruments.
This is quite interesting. It is another bamboo I came across. And if you could tell us, what kind of song or what song you can sing with this instrument.
Traditionally, it is used for like when they are singing a Bumila Karmonzum. Bumila Karmonzum. Kampe jaling beto gaide dongor. But it doesn't mean that you can't play this instrument with the other songs. You can even use for your contemporary songs. The only way is that you should be able to play different patterns of it. You need to be so innovative. You have to be so creative to produce the different patterns of the sound. And this can be used in any kind of songs.
I just enjoyed listening to this instrument. It just took me musically far from Thimphu, somewhere in a very far-flung area in Shemgang. If you could tell us about the rest of the instruments here.
This instrument, it does have the two resonance box, and this instrument belongs to one of the great Lama, and it's from the period of the second king. It's so unique, see, if you compare with the other dronian, it does have the two resonance box.
Okay.
So it is very unique.
I can see that.
And this instrument belongs to the Gem Dadu Tuku from the period of second king.
Okay.
And Gem Dadu Tuku was such a great composer, was one of the prominent composer in the past. There is a song about himself that being in a very spiritual place in the monastery. Wah wah of a Gem Dadu Tuku. Wah wah. So these kind of songs, which is very popular.
Lots of stories behind these instruments, and maybe something about the drums up there.
Oh, this is the drum that I collected from the southern part of Bhutan. And these instruments are mainly played by the Suba community in southern Bhutan. And it plays a very important role at the time of the wedding. These are the instruments you will, every time find when there is a kind of an important occasions taking place within the community of a Suba, what's called caste. So these are all same instruments. And we have another instruments here. These are all for the used by the Suba community.
This is quite interesting. Let me ask you one question regarding the Bhutanese musical instruments. So do you think we have enough traditional Bhutanese musical instruments?
We don't have Indian musical instruments. We are not that rich comparatively with the Indian musical instruments. But Bhutan also has our own native musical instrument. But then most of the musical instruments are been out of practice. But if you bring all these musical instruments together, if you can assemble it, we have enough musical instruments, which is originated from the land of Bhutan. There's so many instruments we can bring together.
Any more musical instruments?
Yeah, we have lots of musical instruments here, but this is another one. And most of the Bhutanese, they don't consider this one as a musical instrument, because this is a kind of a tool used for, while constructing the house.
But do you consider this as a musical instrument?
Oh, yes. If not, while they are trying to pound the mud, why do they sing along with this instrument? And they are taking it, the main purpose of this one is to praise the mud, the wet mud. But for me, I can, say that this is a very interesting musical instrument. So when they are constructing house, they try to pound like this. Om Salamane Peme Chela. And then also, this has got very crucial role while you are working or while you are constructing the house, because through that rhythm, it keeps yourself engaged and you will never feel the tiredness. In such a way, music is used in every part of the life, in every aspect of the life.
So there's a rhythm even when people work, even when people pound the mud while building houses with this wooden tool.
Oh yes, music is everywhere. Even you yourself is one of the instruments, because when you sing, you can produce, the major, 12 notes. So you yourself also are one of the instruments. This is why your heartbeat is a part of, the rhythm pattern in yourself, within yourself.
Okay, that's quite interesting. All right, any more instruments?
We have the suicide instruments, means the wind instruments. For example, we have lots of flutes instruments collected from different parts of the country. This is very old one. It could be more than 300 years old. And that I collected from Trongsa. Trongsa is one region where, there's lots of the originations of songs, indigenous songs, traditional songs, Uda, Dukta, Buddha, and all those things. And we have the mouth harp, which is made out of the bamboo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This very old dronian. There's one thing that to be corrected in it. Most of the people, when they try to pronounce when they try to indicate, they say drumnin. Actually, it is not drumnin. For the lute, you should always say dranyin. Dra means the melody of the music. Nyen means is to listen. Because this is not drumnin, this is not a rhythmic instrument. Drums are the specifically called the percussion instruments. So this is called dranyin. All lutes are called dranyin. Dra means, dra is a melody and nyen is listen, yeah. Do you have other instruments there if you want?
Yes. All right, we can also see that two huge musical instruments. If you could tell us more about this antique instrument. One is smaller and the other one is really big.
This is a really, really old dulcimer. In general, it's called dulcimer, but we have two different sizes of dulcimer here. The one is considered as a po, means the male, and one is considered as a female. The smallest one is considered as female. And if you want to know, the history about this instrument, it was made in 1960s. The first time we have a full details research about this instrument, that who was the inventor for this instrument and how long it took it, and who was the actual and traditional painter for this instrument, and what was the first song played on this instrument. We have whole details of research in our archive.
All right, Sarah. These are the instruments I think most people haven't seen, or especially young people, maybe they haven't heard about these instruments also. Lots of old traditional musical instruments. So, as a researcher and founder of MBRC, how do you hope to educate the young people on these traditional musical instruments?
The great way to educate the youth is to keep this open for any youth who is interested about the traditional music, because they can practically see the musical instruments which are displayed here in the office. And other thing is to get through the awareness through the CDs, and also by giving presentations in the schools and colleges and the training centers. This is kind of a major way to reach to the youth, I think.
Did the center did this, especially the presentation part in schools and colleges?
Well, we did in some of the major schools, and especially in the city. And also we have a future plan to start up again, visiting schools and giving, talks on the importance of the musical instruments and songs, and also the dance movement and everything.
Well, all right. That was the founder of Music of Bhutan Research Centre, Mr. Sonam Kheng Dorji, and he talked about different musical instruments that he collected from different places while he was going to different places, collecting and recording different music and songs from different places in Bhutan. And during that tour, he collected lots of different traditional musical instruments. And the center, they go to different places to record traditional Bhutanese songs and music, and also other culture. They basically try to preserve and archive these traditions. Well, this has been Generation Me, and I'm Tshering Wangchuk signing off for the program. Thank you very much for listening to the program.